Hey, Jim here from K2 Concepts, shooting a real quick video on how to use the K2 Brew. We're going to shoot tonight with a 1.3 tip because some guys don't want to use a 1.8 or get on me about using a 1.8. Well, we use a 1.3, a 1.4. You can use any size tip you feel comfortable with. So tonight we're going to shoot this one with a 1.3, okay? The difference between a 1.3 and a 1.8 is basically, you watch me in your video, in the videos, we're going to say this is 50 centimeters by 12 inches here, and I'll do 1-2 passes, you know, just shh, and then come back. Some of you guys in the videos you've been sending me are just shh, you know, that's not going to cut it, guys, especially if you're using a smaller tip. You're pretty much laying down half as much as you would with a 1.8 or larger tip. And that's fine as long as you know that, but you got to learn how to read your patterns. You guys are underactivating on some of these videos I've been seeing. Real quick passes, you're underactivating. If you can see the film start to gather as you push the speed shape through and you start to see lines where the film's pulling in, it's underactivated. Stop. You're done, okay? It's your technique. You're going to have to start working on your technique. If you're going to be using a 1.3, 1.4 tip, it requires a little bit better technique. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just you need to be a little bit more on your game. A 1.8 it'll give you a little fudge factor. So anyhow, basically what we're going to do tonight, normally with a 1.8, I would do 2 passes, okay? That would be 2 passes. Doesn't matter what, if you're using the K2 Brew or the Hydrovator. Okay, this is 1 pass, coming back is 1 pass. If you're going to be using a 1.3, you're going to want to use this more like a painter. So what you're going to see me tonight do is I'm going to do 50% here and come back 50%. So I'm going to go this way and this way. And then I'm going to do this, this, and this. This is the same technique you guys should be using if you're using the one-hit wonder. If you're using one-hit wonder paint, you definitely should be using a 1.3 tip. And if you're going to use a 1.3 tip, you're going to have to lay down just a little bit more activator. So again, you're going to see me tonight. I'm going to demonstrate technique. I'm going to overlap a little bit. We're not too worried with the 1.3. With a 1.8, if you were to do this, you would overlap the middle and probably overactivate this area right here. But with a 1.3, again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, just like that. All right. And we're going to dip both Hydrovator and K2 Brew so you guys can see the difference. What you're going to notice is you're going to see with the K2 Brew, the colors are just a little bit crisper, especially on objects that are going to be stretched. If they're flat, there's not a lot of pull, you're probably not going to see the difference. But if you've got a mud jug, you can see we dip a lot of mud jugs. And these things, the problem is that it stretches out and then it pulls the pattern back in, so it's almost like a double stretch. Plus you're going in about 4 inches. 4 inches is about the max you're going to get before the film starts to break down. Usually you get a 4-inch draw. So you got a combination of everything that's bad on these stupid little mud jugs. But anyhow, you're going to see the difference. It's a slight difference, but you will see it. So anyhow, we're going to do it right now. Both 1.3 guns set up. The tank's about 90 degrees. You want a little bit warmer tank when you're dealing with the TWN films. We're going to do it on Kryptek tonight because that was a specific question. We're going to try to shoot on multicam, maybe a couple different Krypteks, but tonight we're using the Kryptek Reduced. It's a nice thick film, new film from TWN. It's a good film. I like it. Anyhow, real quick, a little Corona. All right, let's raise the level in the tank. And again, you guys, mostly what I'm seeing, you guys making videos and sending them to me and posting them up on the forum, are you're underactivated. You're not laying down enough. So we'll try to address that tonight. 90 degrees, film's on the water. And you guys get in the habit of double checking your tanks. The weather's changing nowadays, so your guys that are going on autopilot, coming off of summer, especially back east right now that are just buried in snow, you guys are experiencing all kinds of problems. You're gonna have to be a little bit more on your game, especially when things change. I've said it before and I'll say it again, about this time of year we go from summer to winter, things change. We go from winter back into summer or spring, things change again. There's usually 2 times in the year that we get all kinds of emails and videos and stuff because guys can't figure out what's going on. Well, look around you guys, the environment's changing. You can't just go on autopilot. You got to be willing and able to diagnose what's going on. All right, we're real close, 16 seconds. First, we're going to shoot with Hydrovator. Again, a 1-3 tip. The thing you're going to notice with the Hydrovator is it's a little more yellow than the K2 Brew. K2 Brew is a little more clear. It doesn't mean anything. It just, that's how you can tell. If you see here, we keep it in 2 different guns when we're in production. These are both 1/8, but they're 2 distinctly different guns. That way we don't mix them up. All right, here we go. You see the film starting to expand, nice and glassy. It was a good hit. It's nice and clean. Now we'll dip the K2 Brew. And again, the difference isn't going to be dramatic, especially on the thicker films, but that's what people were asking about. Where it becomes really apparent is some of the cheaper films. And again, I'm not saying that Hydrovator doesn't work. Somebody is saying that I can get Hydrovator to work on any film. Yeah, we can too. That's not the issue. What we're saying is sometimes if your films are degrading, your colors are breaking down, and you can't fix it, whether you're adjusting temperature and times, and soak times and stuff like that, then you may want to reach for the K2 Brew. For you guys that don't have a problem with Hydrovator, this video isn't for you. But we've had a lot of questions about the K2 Brew, so this is that video for them. All right, pumps off. And if you really want to check your temperature accurately, get a dial thermometer. Some of you guys are using lasers. Lasers are not meant to be used on a reflective surface. The stainless steel and the water in the tank is reflective, so you won't get a real true reading. So get your get a nice digital thermostat that you can just put in the tank and keep an eye on your temperature and start to diagnose what your problems are. Alright, so we're going to switch now from the Hydrovator to the K2 Brew. And we got a couple of seconds. You can kind of see how it's a little bit clearer. And with the Hydrovator, it's a little more yellow. So that's how you can tell the difference. And the smell. They both smell distinctly different. But, alright. K2 Brew. These are 1.3 tips. We're shooting about 14 pounds pressure. Just barely tickling the water. With these guns, again, pressures change. So don't get hung up on your pressures. You know, set your gun up. I've got several activator guns videos where it's just barely tickling the water. You know. All right. K2 Brew. Same amount. Okay. Now you can see the film's expanding. Glassed over real nice. And there you go. You can see already right off the bat in some of these smaller areas that you get a lot more sharper color, the lines and such. And you can compare it side to side. I don't know how well this translates over the camera, but a little bit less color in here. Still beautiful. I would have that on my gun or my part, but when you look over at the K2 Brew, just a little bit more definition. So that's it, showing you guys how to use the K2 Brew on, that is Kryptek reduced. We will be shooting some more videos on some of the other thicker ink patterns. Again, we never designed the K2 Brew for the thicker ink patterns. Those are mainly Hydrovator patterns. It works well on all the thicker ink patterns, but we were getting a lot of feedback from all those guys over in Britain who are using the K2 Brew on everything. I think they're drinking it over there. They're really having some good success. So we've had a lot of questions. Chem Express has been nice enough to ask us to work on the Asian market with them for both Hydrovator and the K2 Brew. So you're going to start seeing it over there in the Asian market. That's just one of the things. They've got another exclusive Chem Express wants to go to market with us on. So there will be another activator on the market. Not to confuse things, it's just there are different uses for different activators. You guys want to use one, keep using one. It don't matter to me. But for you guys that are open to some of the changes that are coming with the market and other things, then you may want to start messing around with some of this other stuff. So that's it for this one. Football time. We're trying to get out of here. Join us on the forum. We got the pigskin picks every week. We're giving away 4 or 5 meters a week on the football contest. We got a Super Bowl pigskin pick'em. We're giving away 100 meters of film on that one. Big shout out to Big Brain Graphics and Brent over at Kansas Hydrographics who are sponsoring those contests. And we also have another contest this week that we'll be shooting a video on for JJ on One Hit Wonder. Giving away a couple of camo packs. We'll be shooting that next. Join us on the forum, k2forums.com. Leave your comments, questions below. You can email me at k2forums@gmail.com. Or if you want Hydrovator or K2 Brew or some of the guns we've been using, visit us at k2shoponline.com. And that's it for this one. Hope you guys are having a good day dipping. We'll talk to you later.